Hey everyone, welcome back to Grounded Roots Healing. I'm Jason and this is Bonnie. I don't want to say disparaging things about her, but she's not as smart as the other cat, let's say. But she's cute. I just did a video about autism and spirituality. And I'm going to talk about... So I did some breath work yesterday. And it led to some revelations. Well, everything always does, but it led to some revelations and some conclusions, let's say. And a lot of that has to do with having my energy attuned. So it was a Reiki and breathwork session. It's at our usual practitioner, which they're amazing. We had the two Jillians and Christy, all Reiki masters. And then we did a breathwork session. And I always dread breathwork. Now, let me explain. It works. It works very, very well. And which means it's going to trigger something. So when I'm going to one of these, I always have trepidation, and there's almost like a dread that I have when I'm going to one of these, because I know I'm going to have to deal with something difficult. You know, every single breathwork that I've done, I believe I've cried and often sobbed. I think one of them I didn't. And we go to these quite often. So, like I said, I've had a reputation for this, and it's fine. As you bury this stuff down and you cover it with alcohol, as soon as you stop taking that alcohol, this stuff has to come out of you. This is all energy. It's built up in your system, and it's got to come out. You never process this in the moment. When you were little, when things happen to you, and even when you're older, you never dealt with it. You buried it under whatever your choice of substance was, or habit, or behavior to cope with this energy that you refuse to deal with. Once you take that away, it's got to come out. And I've not found anything more effective than breath work. And a friend of mine, acquaintance, I don't know if we're friends anymore. He doesn't. Anyway, we don't talk much anymore. But he had suggested breath work early on, and I was kind of avoiding it. And I think subconsciously I knew that it was going to be a very effective method. So it's extremely effective modality. All right. And I've been in a foul mood. Foul. For days. I did a video 2 videos ago, and I explained, some of the reason. There was a deal with my solar plexus activation, which clearly happened. And, I've been much more firm with boundaries and less intimidated by people after activating my solar plexus. The empowerment of that is absolutely obvious. Confidence is higher, everything. But my energetic system was out of whack. It was out of tune. There was blockages, there was problems. It was just not maintained well. So I needed Reiki to get an attunement and get everything straight, and I needed to get a lesson. So normally when I do this breathwork stuff, it brings up some sort of trauma that I hadn't dealt with. But this time it wasn't trauma related. It was It was more of a realization that I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not doing the little things that I need to do to maintain my energetic system and my body. So, what do I mean by this? So before we went to the session, we went to a little, it's almost like a farmer's market, but they were selling like Christmas crafts and things like this. And there was a baby there, and my wife and I were together, and this baby saw my wife and reached for her, like, and was smiling and bouncing. And when she looked at me, she completely looked right through me. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, baby, you can't lie to a baby. A baby is newly incarnate into this body and absolutely remembers where it came from, more so than where it is now. It has a much better understanding. So when it sees someone who's vibing high, let's say, or in a really good place energetically, they recognize it and they go to you. Now, pets, this goes for pets as well. And I have noticed today, after getting my attunement, that the animals are drawn to me. And it's obvious. You can see it. You know, they kind of avoid you when you're in a foul mood. They can feel it. They sense energy too. They don't care what you're saying. It's more about what what they can see. And this goes for strangers as well. Like, you'll wonder why some dogs just don't like people. Trust that, because they see through. Doesn't matter how much words they're using. The dog sees the low energy. Okay, so the baby wouldn't look at me. No big deal. Now, when I had my 3-day enlightenment, I went to a grocery store. I've described this before. This was a profound experience. Profound. It was the most wonderful experience of my life. And while I was there in Christ consciousness, walking around the grocery store, I walked past this mother, and she had a little boy in the cart. And as soon as I walked past the little boy, he reached for me, and he had this beaming smile on his face. And I'm certain he wanted to come with me more than he wanted to be with his mother. I was vibing so high that, like I said, babies and animals were just flocking to me, including adults, actually. That's how good it can get when you really, really raise your vibration. Even the adults don't know why they're doing it. Anyway, that was an event. So during the breathwork session, after getting some of the blockages and my chakras attuned using Reiki, while I was doing the breathwork, especially towards the end when everything started flowing properly, I couldn't see colors when I was meditating, doing the breathwork. And after they cleared my crown and third eye, immediately the light show started in my inner vision. So if you know what happened there, there's a lot of gunk built up. And the message was, having seen that baby and comparing it to when I was vibing high, that I'm not maintaining my energy system. I'm not doing a good job. I'm not doing the little things that I need to do. I'm skipping past them, And this whole game is, the little things are really important. It's the most important thing. You have to maintain your energetic system. I've written 5,000 words in a book that I started when this all happened about all of this, the details, the little things, the feng shui, the grounding yourself, doing things with intention. Anyway, I literally have a quarter of a book written about this subject, and I'm sure I could write more now. Maybe I should. But, drinking herbal teas in your handmade mugs. This all helps, and I'm not doing it. I'm skipping past it. I noticed my diet was slipping. my wife would make cookies for the children, and I might indulge and eat, 10 of them. By the way, Amanda, stop making those cookies, please. They're irresistible. And ice cream, I was avoiding dairy before, and now that it's not bothering me as much, I started eating that. And, I did start going to the gym, but then my feet were hurting, and I just stopped going because I didn't have energy. Well, it's hard to have energy when you're not maintaining your energy system. So, that whole thing was just to give me a kick in the butt and tell me to do better, to drink the water, to bless the water, to bless the food, to do, I mean, just look at my videos. You can see how many things I've described that are important to do, and I was absolutely letting it slip. So the universe stepped in and made me fix that. And then when your system's blocked up like that, your intuition doesn't work very well. It requires a good connection to your higher self, a clear channel, no gunk, everything attuned. That's your intuition is here. And, you make your decisions from your heart. If you don't have a clear channel, it's impossible to do it well. So as soon as this was all cleared, I immediately felt better. Not to mention that one of the Reiki masters, Christy, noticed me pull into the driveway, and she could feel my energy outside. That's how bad it was. So after I cleared it all out, I felt a million times better. I had a lot of emotions come up over having failed, so to speak, not taking care of myself the way I should, the way I'm preaching in these videos that everybody else is supposed to, But of course, that's foolish. Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens when it's supposed to. This was just a lesson I needed to learn. So I learned it, and I will do better. And then it got me thinking about, and now that my intuition was clear, I had done the shamanic journey. I conducted a shamanic journey, and it went really well. And after that, I think my ego latched onto that healing modality and was like, well, this is something you can do. This is a path that can lead us to safety, where you actually have a job or some kind of door to go through, because that's all it wants. It wants to know what's going to happen. And I enjoyed the shamanic journey. I enjoyed learning about shamanism, and I will continue to learn more. But the main focus has to be on healing myself. And I'm not done. I don't have enough tools in the toolkit in order to maintain my energy body. Therefore, how can I go around working and learning about one modality when the whole time while I'm doing that, my energy system is starting to degrade? So, I was supposed to rent an office space with a friend of mine, and I'm just not ready. And I'm not sure that if I know I'm not. I know I wasn't making that choice from a place of what my soul actually wants. I was doing it from a place of, the mind, the monkey mind, and the safety aspect of it. It's just something for it to grab onto, and anytime that happens, that's what it wants. It wants to grab onto something. So I have to keep moving forward. I've learned so many things this year, and every time I get comfortable with one, I tend to move on to a new one. Now, why would that be any different? Obviously, if you see the pattern here, I'm collecting information about many things in order to form some sort of system or way to implement this into a healing modality, or possibly a book, which I have 5,000 words written about. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I know that I'm not supposed to stop here. I'm supposed to keep going. That's what my intuition tells me. And right on cue, I started getting prompted with ways to learn Reiki. And I think I really need to learn Reiki. I think it's urgent, actually. Now, our local practitioners, they're going to be teaching Reiki, but only in the springtime. And I'd really like to get level 1 done so that I know how to maintain my energy body and understand the way that works better. How to do it so I can use it in my toolbox so that the next time I go to Reiki, I'm not so completely plugged up. And, they can fine tune, but they don't have to completely clear the whole system. And I'd be better able to sense when things are getting out of whack, let's say. So I'm going to go forward with that, and I will go and, as soon as possible, learn Reiki level 1, and then we'll see where we go from there. But yeah, this isn't the end for me. This learning journey is just beginning. And really, it's not a learning journey, it's a remembering journey, because I'm certain I've learned all this stuff before. Like I said before, I know I've been a shaman in past lives. What do I need to learn? All I need to do is turn on that knowledge. I think I've been Reiki master, but I don't know how to do that. Not in this current incarnation. So I have to trigger that memory, and I have to keep going. And on another note, after this, the synchronicities and the number synchronicities have been getting insane. It's gotten so crazy and so direct, let's say, from the universe, that I don't hardly react anymore. Like, I used to be excited when I'd see something, or I'd laugh, or I'd even acknowledge it, or I'd always point it out to my wife. And now I often don't. But today, I've seen the number 49 on every hour of the clock. Every one. So I looked up what angel number 49 means. And it means you need some time alone. It means you need to continue working on yourself. And it needs, essentially, and keep moving forward with what you're learning. And I'm telling you, I've seen that a dozen times today. A dozen. I'm just checked the clock to make sure I wasn't looking at it again. But the one that I've seen the most was 649. Now, anyone who lives in Canada knows what that number means. That's our lottery number, or one of the lotteries here. And I hope that's the one that's pointing out for me the most. I really do. When I win that and I manifest that into existence, a lottery win, well, maybe I can start another channel about how to manifest lottery wins. But yeah. So I think I'll leave it there. As I always say, I hope this video finds you well. I love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow. Say bye, Bonnie.